that I received a letter from the leader of Minority Party, the Honorable Opio Wandai MP, dated 6th April 2023, conveying the decision of the Minority Party to remove the Honorable Sabina Chege MP as the Deputy Minority Whip. Attached to the letter are the minutes of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition National Assembly Parliamentary Group meeting held on 6th April 2023, and the names and signatures of the members who attended the meeting. Standing Order 20A4 provides that a decision of a parliamentary party replacing its whip or deputy whip shall be communicated to the Speaker in writing, and in the case of the minority party, by the leader of the minority party on behalf of the minority party. Further, Standing Order 20A5 provides that the Speaker shall, as soon as practicable following receipt of the decision of the party, convey the information to the assembled House if the House is sitting, or notify members if the House is not sitting. Honourable members, I also wish to notify the House that on 15th February 2023, I received a letter from the member for Nakuru Town West constituency, Honorable Samuel Arama, under the signature of Jubilee Parliamentary Party Whip, seeking the recognition of the Jubilee Party as a parliamentary party in accordance with the standing orders. The honourable member also sought my guidance on a number of other matters. In the letter, the member sought my guidance on the implications of Article 36 of the Constitution on freedom of association, and Article 38 on political rights, and Article 259 on construing of the Constitution, as read together with the provisions of the Political Parties Act 2011 and the standing orders of the House with respect to privileges and rights of members of the Jubilee Party who are members of this House. He also requested that the Jubilee Party, which currently has 28 members, be recognized as a parliamentary party with accruing rights, privileges, and benefits enjoyed by parliamentary parties in keeping with the requirements of the standing orders. Honourable members, as you may further be aware, there has been uncertainty on the leadership of the Jubilee Party in the light of several letters that I have received from Honourable Jeremiah Kioni, the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. In these letters, the Honourable Jeremiah Kioni has severally appointed a number of members in this House to various leadership positions, including the member for Nakuru Town West constituency, the Honourable Samuel Arama, whom he claimed to have been appointed as the party whip, and the Honourable Sarah Korere, the member for Laikipia North constituency, as the deputy whip outside the coalition framework. Honourable members, can you take the nearest available seats? I'm sure we understand what the nearest available seat means. The Honourable Member for Buri. I think at the time we went to school, the word nearest was not in English. Honourable members, in the light of the foregoing, you will agree with me that the issues raised by the myriad of letters are conflicting and indeed weighty. In this regard, and without prejudice to the exercise of the right of the minority party entrenched under Standing Order 20A4, I will now allow the House to make general comments on this matter so that honourable members may give their views on the issues therein, which I may consider in making my conveyance on the removal of the deputy whip of the minority party in the National Assembly. I thank you. I'll give you 30 minutes for those who want to make comments on this, so that you can enrich my already very rich level of thinking. Go to in interventions. I see, I'll give the first shot to the woman of the hour, the direct victim, Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sabina, I'll give you all the honorable members some silence. I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll give your prosecutors 5 minutes, that is the minority leader. I'll give the majority leader, as the standing orders provide, an equal time of 5 minutes. The rest of you who want to speak to this, I'll give you 2 minutes each. Sabina, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, I will say from reports that I've had from last week from the media, I'm really shocked that a communication is done on removal of my position, a position that was negotiated by my party with the coalition partners without informing me, Mr. Speaker, without actually involving me at all, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, in Article 47 of the Constitution, there is a provision of right of every person to administrative action that is lawful, reasonable, and procedurally fair. And under Article 236B of the Constitution provides that due process of law should be followed prior to any removal of office process being effected, Mr. Speaker. And so I am a member of Jubilee Party. Mr. Speaker, I can confirm to this House that we have not been called for any PG of our Jubilee Party. Neither have our coalition partners called us formally for any meeting. And so, Mr. Speaker, I feel that this is a right that has been denied. We are 28 members of this House, Mr. Speaker, and so this position is not Sabina's position, but it's a Jubilee Party position. And hence, we need, Mr. Speaker, to be consulted. Mr. Speaker, we need to be involved in any process or any decision. And Mr. Speaker, I'll only term this as harassment and intimidation from our coalition partners, Mr. Speaker. It has happened before. You remember, Mr. Speaker, when the issue of the PSC came, we even sought for some time to sit with our coalition partners. And our party, Mr. Speaker, was denied a position of a commissioner, which is a right, Mr. Speaker. And so, under Article 3, Mr. Speaker, you have an obligation to uphold the Constitution, which you have severally done so in this House, Mr. Speaker. And allow me to state that that letter from the minority leader, Honorable Wandai, which you have referred to, and it makes reference also to standing order number 20A, which the leader has alleged invoked to commence the replacement, Mr. Speaker. I seek the indulgence of members of this House, Mr. Speaker, as we read standing order number 20A, and tell me whether the standing orders accords with the Constitution in terms of Article 47 on fair administration of action. And Mr. Speaker, the standing order has no due process. And this is what the leader of minority is using to intimidate me, to leave a position that was negotiated by my party. And I will not take it kindly. And I know also my party members will not take it kindly. There is no justice, Mr. Speaker, and the due process has not been followed. As I've again mentioned, Mr. Speaker, I've only had this on the floor of the House, and nobody has contacted me, neither have our party members been contacted. Was there a meeting that was held? Were there minutes, Mr. Speaker, that were given to you as part of this communication? Were there signatures that were there? And how many members of Jubilee Party signed? Mr. Speaker, I will beg that you avail to us these records and give us ample time before you communicate, Mr. Speaker, for us to sit and deliberate. One, as Jubilee Party, and number two, as a coalition, Mr. Speaker. And as a way forward, Mr. Speaker, I know you have commented that you have received messages from Honorable Samuel Arama, who is our parliamentary whip, Mr. Speaker, on Jubilee Party being an independent party. And so, Mr. Speaker, we deserve to have our own position in this, including our leadership position as Jubilee Party. We cannot be ignored, Mr. Speaker, where we have 28 members, we are second largest minority party. And so, Mr. Speaker, we beg that, Mr. Speaker, you give us time. We have our dispute resolutions. We have to follow the due process, Mr. Speaker. Give us time so that we can table in front of you in this House the deliberations that will follow. But for now, Mr. Speaker, I would like and request that the communication be treated as null and void until the parties sit down, agree, and everybody is involved. Mr. Speaker, we will not allow this position to go like the way they did for the position of the commissioners. I raised the matter, it was ignored, we lost a position, but this one, we will not allow our partners to take it away. It might not be Sabina, Mr. Speaker, but this is I'm the victim. Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate and say, yes, I am a member of Jubilee Party. And Jubilee Party is the second largest minority party in this House, Mr. Speaker. And I beg that we also get our equal share from the committees, from the House leadership, Mr. Speaker, and do not allow these people, Mr. Speaker, to intimidate us. Remember, Mr. Speaker, at one point, when you were a senator, the same people conned you your position, and you warned them it's going to be noisy and messy. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to repeat again, we will not allow to be conned, Mr. Speaker, and we will repeat again, it's going to be noisy and messy, Mr. Speaker. Do not forget the journey we have walked together. And so when we get to this level, this is when they want to intimidate us, Mr. Speaker. There is also freedom of association, which, Mr. Speaker, you have also communicated in this office. So we are free to associate. We are free also to make independent decisions, Mr. Speaker, but we will not be cowed. We will not be intimidated. Mr. Speaker, as it was ruled then, when you are removed from the position, now you are at a position, Mr. Speaker, where you can be able to guide this House. I pray that God will give you wisdom, that you give us proper direction. But for now, Mr. Speaker, without having those documentation for our perusal, please treat this communication as null and void. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Other members, on a light note, be notified that I claim intellectual property rights on that phrase. On that phrase of noise and mercy. I'll give the floor to the Honorable Pio Andai. And Honorable Andai, I think it will be helpful if you table your minutes on the floor, if you have them. And once you table, if the Honorable Sabina wishes to make a comment on them, I'll give her 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, obviously, you know you are ambushing me. Clearly.
I can call you much later so that you get your minutes. It does,
I don't even need to get them, Mr. Speaker. And I'll demonstrate from my submissions shortly.
And for the record, Honorable Wandai, it's not an ambush because I told you yesterday I'll deliver this ruling today.
But you never told me you'll come to open up a debate on this matter. Yeah.
Go ahead and...
Honorable Kenan, please give me time to prosecute my matter. Yes, you have got no right whatsoever to try to guide the Speaker, who is very experienced, you know. Mr. Speaker, let me just start by saying that the contents of my letter to you and plus the attendant attachments speak for themselves. But I want just to take you to Standing Order number 20A4B, just for record, really. A decision of a parliamentary party replacing its whip or deputy whip shall be communicated to the Speaker in writing by the leader of minority party on behalf of the minority party. And I want to take you further to Standing Order number 20A5, which says that the Speaker shall, as soon as practicable, following receipt of the names under paragraph 3, that is the names of the persons being removed, or the decision under paragraph 4, convey the information to the assembled House if the House is sitting, or notify members if the House is not sitting. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sorry. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Angela, under what standing order are you amplifying what Wandai is saying?
No, it's just being a good member.
Order, you are out of order, Angela. You are a very senior member of this House, and you are presumed to know the standing orders. Go on, Wandai.
Mr. Speaker, without saying much, a plain reading of these standing orders will tell you that what the minority coalition, or indeed the majority coalition, whichever the case, needs to do is simply to communicate to the Speaker on the decision they have taken. In fact, insofar as the removal of a whip or a deputy whip, it doesn't even require any minutes or even any meeting of the coalition. It just requires me, as the leader of minority, to communicate the decision of the minority coalition. That is one. That is one. Two, there is the provision of the Constitution at Article 108, where it is clearly stipulated about the leadership of majority party and leadership of minority party. Let me say this, that under the Constitution and our own standing orders, any party, of course, which meets a threshold of having more than 5% of the membership qualifies to be a parliamentary party. You must distinguish between a parliamentary party and a minority coalition or majority coalition. Anytime you choose as a party to belong to a coalition, be it majority or minority, I hope I've got time, because anytime you choose to belong to a coalition as a party, whether you qualify as a parliamentary party or not on your own, you cede your rights to be a parliamentary party standing on its own. You give all your rights to the coalition to which you belong. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, it is clear that Jubilee Party remains a member of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. But more importantly, I don't understand how the supposed letters from whoever, be it Honorable Arama, be it Honorable Kioni, I don't understand how those supposed letters have a relationship with the matter at hand, which is basically communicating the decision we have taken as a coalition to remove our deputy minority whip. The two are mutually exclusive. Let me submit, Mr. Speaker. But more importantly, because I've heard my sister, Honorable Sabina, say that Jubilee cannot be frustrated, cannot be punished. I have not yet even communicated the replacement of Honorable Sabina Chege. I haven't. And therefore, she doesn't know whether her replacement will be from Jubilee or not. So it is premature to suggest that Jubilee is being punished. She has got no idea whom I'm going to present their name as her replacement. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the debate on the floor of the House, in my view, my very respectful view, is unnecessary. Is uncalled for. I just want to plead with you And the precedent has been set in the Senate. There has been a precedent in the Senate just 2 weeks ago. A precedent has been set that even if somebody were to go to PP, political parties dispute tribunal or court, that is a decision of a court, you know. Yeah. And therefore, there's a precedent, if those of you don't know, that a court decision is law until it is varied or otherwise, yes, appealed against. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to say much. My point is that my letter to you speaks for itself. It's in accordance with the standing orders. It's in accordance with the Constitution. It does not require any further debate. I want to plead with you to uphold the dignity of this House and announce the removal of Honorable Sabina Chege as a Deputy Minority Whip, and allow me to send the name of her replacement as soon as I make a decision, Madam Speaker. With those very many remarks, thank you. Thank you very much.
Order, honorable members. Every member shall be heard in silence. The honorable member for Elders. Yes, Wanjala. Order, honorable Kainan. Give honorable Wanjala the mic.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I've been in this House. I'm serving my 4th term. Members have been removed in committees. Chairmen have been removed in committees. Whips have been removed. Mr. Speaker, there has never been a debate when a chairman of a committee or a member of a committee or a whip is being removed. Why do you allow the removal of the deputy whip to be removed?
Order, Honorable Wanjala, I will send you to go to the library and read the Hansard proceedings of the Senate of the Kenya Parliament from 2017 to 2022, when the coalition of NASA removed the senator for Bungoma as minority whip, and the speaker then, with distinction, allowed the House to debate the matter for 2 hours before he made his ruling. This is not without precedence. Secondly, Honorable Wanjala, Fair Administrative Actions Act, if you care to read, and in natural justice, Waswahili wanasema muue mkala lakini haki yake mpe. Elders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this very important issue, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to put it on record that officially I am the Jubilee Parliamentary Group Secretary, and that is the position that I've been holding since 2020. And therefore, I am the only one in Parliament who has the right to speak on issues pertaining to parliamentary group, both in the Senate and the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, secondly, this purported Azimio coalition agreement, even as an official, as a NEC member, I am yet to see. And I'm sure during the ruling that you made on 6 October 2022, you also alluded to the same, that this is a non-existent document. And therefore, we as Jubilee, Mr. Speaker, we wrote to you on a number of occasions, and the person who wrote to you is none other than the person who was then the Secretary General, Honorable Kioni. He wrote to you on the leadership of the houses. He wrote to you on the formation on Commission on Revenue Allocation. He wrote to you on IALA. He wrote to you on Pan-Africa, literally to demonstrate that Jubilee as a party is a distinct party, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we're in this era. Between now and the general election, this party, great former party, has been conned. We lost PSC, and the shocking thing, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Waluke was in jail. They nominated him, took the nomination letter to jail, and 1 day later, they appointed another person as his replacement. This is the most inhuman thing that I have ever seen, Mr. Speaker, with this group, and of course, it's a trademark, Mr. Speaker. Equally, Mr. Speaker, The Honorable Fatuma Dula lost her position as a minority whip. The Honorable Sabina is here. The Honorable Margaret Kamar has lost her membership of the Pan-African Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, taking all these into account, Mr. Speaker, it has dawned on us, as being the second largest minority party, Mr. Speaker, and taking into account that some of us are not cows. We cannot blindly follow the whims of individuals who don't reason, Mr. Speaker. We have decided, and I want to put it on record that I'm not a cow, and that's why I've been here, I've been elected many times, Mr. Speaker, because I reason, I appreciate, and make decisions that is consistent with what I think is correct, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you have also alluded to the provisions of the Fair Administrative Action, Mr. Speaker. If you look at this, all the Jubilee members have been removed from the WhatsApp group of the Azimio coalition, Mr. Speaker. That is the first demonstration that we are in the wrong coalition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, technically speaking, Jubilee is part of Azimio as of now. But, Mr. Speaker, I need your protection from this particular member. I don't want to say he's my good friend, but you know, certainly I'm qualified to say a lot of things about you, and you wouldn't like this house. Mr. Speaker, taking into account the provision of the Fair Administrative Act, Mr. Speaker, this letter, purported letter from my good friend, the Honorable Wandai, and I want to say this for the good of Honorable Wandai, you have demonstrated enough that you are up to the job of being the minority leader to the honors of Azimio. That we appreciate. But equally, we will not allow you to step on our rights. This particular letter, Mr. Speaker, is malicious, Mr. Speaker. This particular letter is capricious, it's unconstitutional, it's inconsistent with the provisions of every...
Mr. Speaker, the trajectory you are allowing this debate to take is very dangerous. First and foremost, Honorable Kainan, instead of addressing you, is continually addressing me. One, which is against standing orders. But more importantly, Honorable Kainan is insinuating that some of us are cows, which is totally cows. He has said so, which is totally unparliamentary.
Order. I didn't hear that.
If you didn't hear him, you can check the answer.
Order, honorable members.
We can't allow this house to degenerate in the manner you are making it degenerate.
Order, honorable members.
That is
Order.
true. That is true.
Honorable Kainan.
We can't allow this house to...
You have made your point, Kainan. No, sorry. Order.
Mr. Speaker, let me correct this. I said the Honorable Wandai is my good friend. He has demonstrated that he's up to the job. And I said, me as an individual, Adam Kainan, and as a father of the 13th Parliament, I said, I'm not a cow. I reason, I think, I reflect. I didn't make any reference to any particular individual. To that extent, I am allowed to say what I want to say, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I said, taking into account the provisions of the Fair Administrative Action Act, Mr. Speaker, all the members of Jubilee have been removed from the WhatsApp group of the Azimio group. A clear demonstration of intolerance. And Mr. Speaker, you have been a victim. And Mr. Speaker, God is fair. What goes around comes around. It's exactly 5 years ago that you are hounded out of an office like this one of Honorable Sabina in a very, unceremonious manner, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I asked for some few minutes. Mr. Speaker, I was saying this. My good friend, the Honorable Waluke, the PG of Jubilee decided to have him as a representative of Jubilee in the Parliamentary Service Commission. And the leadership went ahead and gave his nomination when he was in prison, Mr. Speaker. And 2 days later, they gave it to another person, Mr. Speaker. What is worse than that, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the import of this is this. The import of this, Mr. Speaker, is this. We as Jubilee, taking into account our rights as a party, considering that we are under the new constitutional commission, Constitution, Mr. Speaker, we will be seeking to amend the standing orders, Mr. Speaker, so that Jubilee is recognized as a distinct parliamentary party, Mr. Speaker, that has all rights. Mr. Speaker, I also know that being the second largest party within the minority, Mr. Speaker, even the position of the deputy minority leader was ours. You can see it has gone to another party.
Your time is up. Your time is up. Give him 1 minute, make your point, and sit down.
Mr. Speaker, in short, what we are trying to say is this. Under the current constitution, we will not allow to be intimidated, we will not allow to be blackmailed, we will not allow to be backstabbed. We are here by right, we will continue to exist by right. Our rights must be appreciated, and it's the onus in this on you, Mr. Speaker, as the leader of this House, to protect the rights of every member of this House, regardless of their political affiliation, and that's why we as Jubilee, Mr. Speaker, we are not persuaded, will not be intimidated, we are not part of what is being proposed, and Honorable Sabina continues to be our deputy minority whip, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mwenge Mutuse. Give Honorable Mutuse. Clerk, there you are, Mutuse.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this debate.
Remember,
Mr. Speaker,
you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Mr. Speaker, when you retreat to make your ruling, it is important for you to consider the character of the people who have brought this matter before you. Mr. Speaker, character is important because consistently the party ODM has been shortchanging people who work with them during elections. Mr. Speaker, I say this because when this House was, when the 13th Parliament started, the first issue that was to be debated in this House was membership of coalitions. And ODM has been seeking to enslave people, to forcefully have people to associate with it without their own considering their own democratic rights. Mr. Speaker, in also considering the issue that has been brought before you, the minority side has cited the standing orders, but it is also important for you to study the standing orders against the Constitution, that the honorable members have a right to associate with anyone that they wish to associate with. Mr. Speaker, they have also cited to you the Fair Administrative Actions Act, and therefore the standing orders alone cannot stand against the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I stand to urge you to reject the letter by the minority side and find that it is important for the honorable member who has been cited to exercise her democratic right and to refer the matter back to the party internal dispute resolution mechanisms. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Robert Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Although, Mr. Speaker, just like my leader, I'm very concerned about this debate because this is a house of rules, and as a house of rules, our decisions are guided by things that have happened in the past in the House. And when it comes to our standing orders, which is what guides our business, because we must be guided in a certain way, it is very clear the process by which we as a House have passed the rules on how to remove someone from the office, the equivalent of the office that the Honorable Sabina Chege is holding. So if we are going to discuss, then, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about things that are outside our standing orders. Yet our standing orders are the ones that will give direction and now on how we operate as a House. Mr. Speaker, I'm very concerned because in our debate we are forgetting something very important. What is the responsibility that is given to the whip and the deputy whip? Because, Mr. Speaker, it is possible that we might debate and forget that. The deputy whip is the principal assistant of the whip. And the purpose of the whip is to bring together members of the coalition in order that they can be able to fast track and pass issues of their coalition. Mr. Speaker, when a member has been seen by their coalition to not be trustworthy, to not be capable of doing that job, Mr. Speaker, it is our right to make a decision on who becomes a whip. Tomorrow, if the coalition decides, Mr. Speaker, that I am not faithful and trustworthy enough to continue serving as a deputy leader, Mr. Speaker, I will step aside and move on because I cannot occupy a position and deny other people opportunity. But finally, Mr. Speaker, on the matter of Now, on the matter of the standing orders, Mr. Speaker, if Jubilee is in Azimio, she cannot continue holding the position. But if Jubilee were to leave the coalition, then Jubilee has a right to be able to claim positions as a parliamentary party. They must make a decision. Are they in Azimio or are they in Kenya Kwanza?
Order. Majority Leader, what is the point of order? Are you done?
He still has time. Honorable Speaker, you know, the Honorable Robert Mbui is a seasoned parliamentarian and a very good one, as much as I sympathize with him because he's likely to be the next victim. Yes. However, Honorable Speaker, being a seasoned parliamentarian, he knows he cannot impute improper motive on a member without a substantive motion. And I think the matter at hand did not touch on the character or personality of the Honorable Sabina Chege. And Robert Mbui has gone forth to claim, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from this honorable lady with funny hair always. And she has this pendant of always shouting.
Order.
I don't know her name, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Honorable Majority Leader. Order. Honorable member for, is it Busia? Honorable Omanyo, Catherine Omanyo. Order, Honorable Catherine Omanyo. I know for sure that you don't have funny hair. And all the honorable members, hair is normally described as either short, long, curly, but not funny. Honorable Majority Leader, you will have to withdraw that comment on the gracious lady.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am actually informed she's the Honorable Catherine Omanyo, member for Busia. And I withdraw, Honorable Speaker, with all due respect to
Honorable Wanjala.
Honorable Speaker, I know the member for Budalangi is also from the county of Busia, but probably it might be him encouraging the Honorable Catherine Omanyo to interrupt other members, including her own leader when she's speaking on the floor of the House. And it's good, just want to advise the gracious lady, you will look more gracious and more beautiful with beautiful long hair if you allow, when you allow the person on the floor. But Speaker, back to the point.
Order.
Allow me, Honorable Speaker, I was just saying that because she has this penchant of shouting from her seat, and maybe there's an intervention button if she desires to say something. She must not learn from the member for Budalangi. The Honorable Robert Mbui imputed an improper motive on the Honorable Sabina Chege, alleging that they have proved she is incapable. Well, the people of Muranga and the people of Kenya know the Honorable Sabina as a very efficient leader. The members of Jubilee in this House have nominated the Honorable Sabina to represent them in the coalition that they are represented. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it will be very improper for the Honorable Robert Mbui to impute or impugn that the Honorable Sabina Chege is incapable, while it is her members in her Jubilee. And I know the Honorable Robert Mbui belongs to the Wiper Party, and I said I sympathize with him because he's the next.
You made your point. Honorable Arama. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
But
Speaker.
Honorable Mbui, you said you are done.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, he brought me back. He brought me back, Mr. Speaker. I had finished. But maybe I want to substantiate so that it's clear. I never mentioned the capability of the Honorable Sabina Chege. I talked about the issue of trustworthy and issue of loyalty. And when we as a coalition saw her smiling cheek to cheek in State House against our agreement, as a party. We were concerned. So, Mr. Speaker, it's an issue of party loyalty, not efficiency, Mr. Speaker. And she is whipping members away from this coalition to the other coalition, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Honorable Mbui, you can only smile ear to ear, not cheek to cheek. I have given the floor to Honorable Arama. I see him on the... If he's not there, I'll give the floor to Honorable Omboko Milemba.
Speaker, for giving me this chance. When you retire to make your ruling, Honorable Speaker, I want to indicate that it's very important that you refer to the ruling you made when we were beginning on the issues of political party collisions. One other reason why you made the ruling you did make was because Azimio collision could not be put together and could not be clearly understood by yourself. They could not present it to you. And therefore, that collision does not exist per se. It is only here and there. That will help you and guide you in making this particular ruling. Number two, Honorable Speaker, the rights of an individual to associate, the rights of an individual to have association, political rights, and even other rights cannot be taken away by collusions which we enter. And a purportation that by joining a particular political party, you completely lose your right and you can be meddled with despite the existence of the Constitution, that's a matter, Honorable Speaker, I would want you to look at when you'll be making your ruling. I want to lastly say, Honorable Speaker, that it is not correct for collisions which we enter to come to the floor of the House and purport that they completely take away our rights. Parliament is known to make fair laws for Kenyans. How could it happen that the standing orders of Parliament would be so unfair as to allow individuals not to be listened to and to be directed like cows, in quotes, if I may use that word, the way the Azimio coalition is directing its leadership? Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Kabisa.
Honorable member, with the light I can't see well. The member next to the lady from Mombasa. Honorable.
Amos Mwago.
Amos.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Amos, there's too much light, I can't see you properly.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for giving me. Thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. As a member of Jubilee Party, I want to stand with Sabina Chege and defend our position as a Deputy Minority Whip, because we've been in this Azimio coalition for far too long, and the harassment, as has been explained, has become too much. They have suffocated our space. We talk of democracy, and there's no democracy in this side of the divide. And it is time we are recognized as a parliamentary party with our positions and our rights, that we seek your indulgence in protecting our rights. Because we've seen a letter that was doing round that they wanted to remove us in some committees. We delivered for this party, for the Azimio party, and some of the people here who are being persecuted like Sabina sacrifice our political career because of this Azimio coalition. Right now, they are talking about choices have consequences. She made a choice to support Azimio, she paid the consequences. She cannot continue being intimidated and persecuted every other time. We are setting a very bad precedence, because even this purported meeting that happened, we were not invited to the meeting. They cannot purport to decide for us. They are saying they already have a name for a Jubilee person to replace Sabina. We were not consulted as Jubilee. We cannot continue accepting such manner of indulgence with this party. So I stand and seek to support Sabina, and may you, in your wisdom, as you retire to make a ruling on this, kindly, for the posterity of the politics of this nation, protect Sabina Chege. Thank you so much.
Member Women Rep from Murang'a.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, you are there.
I stand to oppose the proposal by the Azimio to remove Honorable Sabina from the position of the Deputy Minority Whip. Mr. Speaker, poison remains poison even if served in a golden pot. The trend of political parties and political leaders to use house positions as tokens for leaders and as punishment for leaders must stop in this nation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to stand and say, when Honorable Sabina Chege was voted for in 2013, she employed me in her office, and I take this opportunity with a lot of humility to say thank you to her. I know her as a woman of high morals and integrity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the 2022 election where I was vying, Madam Honorable Sabina was not even in my support because she was a Jubilee person and she really supported the Jubilee party. However, Mr. Speaker, nobody can never have a stomach disorder for swallowing their words. Today, we support, tomorrow we oppose, and we need to be given our freedom to oppose what we like and to propose what we like. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose the removal of Honorable Sabina Chege. And
Honorable,
even if there is no motion, yes.
You've made your point. Honorable.
I am
Rachel
opposing. It's
Nyamai.
my English word. Yes, it's an English word. I'm opposing.
Order, those are semantics. What you don't agree with, you can oppose.
Yes.
Honorable Rachel Nyamai, I'll give you voice.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity also to put my word on this very emotional matter that you have brought to the attention of this House. First of all, Honorable Speaker, the seat that the Honorable Sabina Chege sits today is a negotiated position for effort, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, effort cannot be erased by writing a letter, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you retire to make this ruling, I would like you to recall that your transgressors have come to haunt the house that you lead, Mr. Speaker. And at some point, Honorable Speaker, even after making the judgment, you may want to audit the number of committee positions that were given to Jubilee Party within the Azimio coalition, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that Honorable Sabina Chege deserves to be in that position. And as a member of NEC, Mr. Speaker, we have not been consulted. I'm a member of Jubilee Party, and I've been elected in this House 3 times, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to say that Sabina deserves being in that position, and we would like to request you to protect us in this House as the 3rd largest political party and the 2nd largest political party within opposition, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like also to say that we have lost 2 positions, Mr. Speaker. One PSC belongs to a woman. This position that Honorable Sabina is being removed is a woman. This is an onslaught on women, Mr. Speaker. And it is going to be messy and noisy. Mr. Speaker, make sure that you make it noisy and messy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Kagusha.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, when you make a bed, so must you lie on it. The Azimio Party, one time last year, they were walking high, shoulders high in this town, that they had many brides, that they had gotten many wives. And they were very happy and would actually put us down all the times. Honorable Speaker, now they must know, they must learn how to live with these many wives. You cannot wake up in the morning and purport to divorce any of your wives. And in fact, you put this without giving us minutes. Honorable Speaker, I am surprised and shocked that Honorable Ndai can actually say that he doesn't have minutes, that him alone is enough to demote and to remove Honorable Sabina Chege, who is not even a member of the Jubilee of the ODM party. Honorable Speaker, I would like, when you retreat to make your decision, to be guided by a ruling that was made in this assembly, in this National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, you will recall that in the last assembly, when Honorable Muturi was faced with the same scenario, where ODM did not present a member of Wiper political party to be a member of PSC. Honorable Speaker, the Wiper party asked a question here: to what extent can that list be be valid without a member of Wiper political party, which was a political party in this assembly. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Muturi actually asked these political parties to go back and consult. And when they consulted, the ODM party, which is known to sit on other members' rights, was actually forced to remove their candidate and had to replace their candidate with the Honorable Ben Momanyi, who now went to sit in the PSC. Honorable Speaker, it is a known fact that ODM party is a bully. It has been bullying other coalition political parties. And this is a time that we are going to stop this bullying attitude.
Honorable Raphael Wanjala. Order. Honorable Minority Leader, what do you want to say? Wanjala, Ngoja.
The Honorable Speaker.
Let your leader
Honorable
say.
Wanjala, just hold on. Honorable Speaker, you know, I keep on pleading with you that you need to rein in conduct of members in this House. The unbecoming conduct. Mr. Speaker, there has been several references to ODM. Mr. Speaker, let me also go on record that apart from being the leader of minority coalition in this House, I'm also a senior official of ODM as a party. Mr. Speaker, it is not in order. And political parties are legal beings. And therefore, you cannot just make it habit that this House can be disparaging a political party with a rich history such as ODM with careless abandon. And you are watching us speak. I don't think that can be allowed. And therefore, I want to beseech you again.
Yes.
Understand the excitement in some of our colleagues. Very excited. And must be allowed.
Your point, Wanjala.
My point is that let us observe decorum in this House. And more importantly, Mr. Speaker.
Wanjala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear.
Members, you must hear Wanjala in silence for him to understand how to hear others in silence.
Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear that the debate before us is not about ODM. It's a Azimio issue. Azimio has several parties. It's not ODM. That is one. Two, Mr. Speaker, when Azimio decided to make Sabina Chege a whip, a deputy whip, it was not debated here. They were not consulted, the UDA. Therefore, the Kenya Kwanza have no business in debating the matters of Azimio. Mr. Speaker, the issue before us is very motive that somebody who is in your coalition is propagating the ideas of other coalitions. How will I allow such a person to come and whip me? That is why the Azimio coalition sat and made a decision to de-whip the deputy whip. Therefore, we cannot be forced to swallow what does not belong to, what we have not chewed. And Mr. Speaker, even a woman in the House cannot purport to stay put in your house. She has denied you your conjugal rights and she's putting up with other men outside there. You will have to force this woman out. I want to tell that man. We will force that woman out if she's doing it, if she's running around with other men.
Order. What is the point of order, Honorable? Is it Wamshomba? Order. Order. Honorable Wanjala, if you want your party to be referred to kindly, also refer to your colleagues kindly. Honorable Wamshomba, what's your point of order? What is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I rise on a point of order. Is it in order, Honorable Speaker, for Honorable Wanjala to instigate or to insinuate that the honorable, respected lady from Muranga has refused and denied conjugal rights. Is it in order, Mr. Speaker? To Angela. Is it in order, really?
Order. Order, Angela, your time is up. Order, Angela, honorable members, before you continue with excitement, allow me to acknowledge in the speaker's gallery the presence of, and these are your children watching you, and these are your children watching you and looking at you as their role models. Order, Angela. Order, Angela. Order, Angela. I acknowledge in the speaker's gallery Kamwiru Boys High School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga. Mirera High School from Naivasha in Nakuru. AIC Tinderet from Tinderet, Nandi. On my behalf and on your behalf, I welcome the students and their teachers to the House of Parliament and encourage them that it is not always like this. Uh, 30 minutes is about over. Majority Leader, we are coming to an end of this discourse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, let me also have my say in this matter as much as this matter relates to the other coalition. But Honorable Speaker, you are aware that we are one house, irrespective of what coalition we support. And Honorable Speaker, I want to draw your attention, Honorable Speaker, to some of the issues that have been raised. The letter the Leader of Minority has written is pegged on Standing Order number 20A, I think, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in your own communication, you have alluded to the provisions of our Constitution and Articles 36 and 38 on our individual rights and political rights, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I want to invite you, as you make your considered ruling, to weigh the weight of what are constitutional rights granted under our Constitution vis-a-vis the provisions of that particular Standing Order 20A that the Leader of Minority has pegged his letter on. Because, Honorable Speaker, it is there and is a constitutional principle that any statute, regulation, or any subsidiary law, including standing orders that are not incongruent with our Constitution, they remain null and void to the extent of that inconsistency, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, if our own standing orders under 20A do not grant a member of this House the fair administrative process as granted under Article 47 of the Constitution. And if you care, I read, Honorable Speaker, Article 47 of the Constitution provides for the right to every person, including the Honorable Sabina Chege, the right to lawful, reasonable, and procedurally fair administrative action. It therefore behoves on the Leader of Minority and the Azimio coalition to prove it to this House that that fair administrative process that is procedural, that is legal, and reasonable has been afforded not to the Honorable Sabina Chege, but, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from this lady from Busia. Once more, I don't know what is it that she wants with me. I don't want you. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, you know, she has this penchant of interrupting me to look her way. And I don't want to look her way. Let me look at you, Mr. Speaker, because I want to address you. Honorable Speaker, I was inviting you to the provisions of Article 47. I also invite you, Honorable Speaker, to the provisions of Article 236B of our Constitution, which provides that due process of law must be followed prior to any removal from office process being effected, Honorable Speaker. And I therefore want to say that it also behoves on the minority coalition to prove that they have adhered to the provisions of Article 236B, that a fair process from removal of office has been effected, Honorable Speaker. And I think from what I hear, and I was keenly listening to members who are elected on the Jubilee ticket. They have neither been afforded the opportunity to be heard. They did not even participate in the purported meeting of a coalition that they are being forced into. Honorable Speaker, I say being forced to because, Honorable Speaker, I also want to draw your attention, Honorable Speaker, and you will recall last year, Honorable Speaker, you gave a very detailed and holistic communication on the question of the leadership of this House when it was contentious between ourselves and the Azimio coalition, who were the majority and minority parties. And in your communication, Honorable Speaker, you remember you did allude to the fact that you could not confirm with certainty which parties were in Azimio and which ones were not in the Azimio coalition, Honorable Speaker. Because up to date, Honorable Speaker, as you stated, the post-election agreements remained a mystery. And Honorable Speaker, only yesterday, we read for the first time the amendment, the Political Parties Amendment Act, which requires, and this is a bill, sorry, not yet an act, Honorable Speaker, requires that all these agreements, when the Register of Political Parties receives them, does table them to the House within a period of 15 days. So that it becomes clear, Honorable Speaker, who is in what coalition, Honorable Speaker. I've had occasion to hear in the media the Honorable Leader of Minority claim that the Honorable Kainan belongs to his coalition, the Honorable Mutuse belongs to his coalition, and I have heard the Honorable Mutuse deny that it doesn't belong to the Azimio coalition. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to draw your attention to your own rulings, Honorable Speaker, when you determine the issue of the majority and minority. Two, Honorable Speaker, I want to speak to my good friend, the Leader of Minority. We are in a season, Honorable Speaker, when we are talking about bipartisanship and the need to reason together, the need to listen to each other. Honorable Speaker, I find it completely to be in bad faith, out of taste, and insincere that at a time when the entire country seeks to come together, that the Leader of Minority now is the one instigating disharmony within the Azimio coalition. And it will be in my interest, Honorable Speaker, as Leader of the majority coalition, that there is disharmony on the Azimio coalition. But in the spirit that we are living in today, it is only sincere and in good taste and in good faith that if the Azimio coalition wants to remove anybody from any position, please follow due process, follow the Fair Administrative Act and the provisions in the Constitution, even under Article 236B of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, I also want to draw your attention to precedents in this House, Honorable Speaker. And you did allude yourself in your communication to the myriad of letters that have been written by the Secretary General of Jubilee, or the purported Secretary General of Jubilee, because there is a dispute, Honorable Speaker. And in these letters, I did hear the Leader of Minority or the Deputy Leader ask, what is the relevance of those letters? Honorable Speaker, the relevance of those letters by Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, the Secretary of Jubilee in this matter, is as simple as the Secretary General of Jubilee, in those letters when he has written, Honorable Speaker, and I was just perusing and I've seen, he wrote on CRA nominating the Honorable Nyokabi to represent Jubilee in the CRA Commission. The Azimio coalition had the other nominees. On IALA, Honorable Speaker, you remember, Jeremiah Kioni wrote nominating himself and the former member for Kigumo. And Azimio coalition also had their own other nominees. What that tells us and the relevance of those letters, the people who voted for Jubilee in Azimio, in the leadership positions, in nominative positions that are being brought to this House, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, also on precedents, the Honorable Kagushi has alluded to the case in point of the Honorable Momanyi, Commissioner Momanyi, when Wiper, and that is why I was warning and cautioning my brother Robert Mbui, you might be next. Do not support injustice against your sister, because tomorrow it shall be you. Last Parliament, it was Wiper. The entire House stood with Wiper. I want to invite the entire House today to stand with the Jubilee Party within the Azimio coalition, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Momanyi eventually was nominated as a commissioner of the Parliamentary Service Commission, recognizing that Wiper was a parliamentary political party. Today, Honorable Speaker, the party, my former party Jubilee, even with all the injustice and unfairness they visited on me and my colleagues in UDA, I have a duty as a Democrat, as someone who believes in democracy, to defend the rights of members of Jubilee and members elected on Jubilee. Honorable Speaker, buttressing that duty, Honorable Speaker, even tomorrow I will defend ODM and I will defend Jubilee, Wiper. I will even defend PA. I will defend PIA, UPIA, and UPIA, as small as they are within the coalition. Because that is how, Honorable Speaker, we shall enrich our democracy. Honorable Speaker, this House, Honorable Speaker, has also set precedents, Honorable Speaker. And the House, Honorable Speaker, has a practice not to extinguish the rights of individual political parties. And that is what this House did with Momanyi. That is what this House did with Honorable David Ochieng when ODM sought to remove him from a committee at a time when he was elected on his own party, MDG. And this House and the Speaker in the 12th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, stood with the rights, individual rights of the party MDG that was only represented by one member in the name of Honorable David Ochieng. And also, Speaker, stood with to protect the fundamental rights of an individual member in the name of David Ochieng and Commissioner Momanyi. I invite you, Honorable Speaker, to allow yourself as you consider this matter. And I know, Honorable Speaker, just to conclude, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying, Honorable Speaker, even as you claimed the property rights to the noisy and messy divorce process, Honorable Speaker, I want to invite you.
Intellectual
rights. Property rights.
Yes.
To the noisy and messy phrase. I want to invite you not to allow this process to be noisy and messy. I want to invite you to protect the individual rights of Sabina Chege as a member of this House. I want to invite you to protect the political rights of the Jubilee Party within the Azimio coalition. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we must protect women's rights. I do not know, Honorable Speaker, why, Honorable Speaker, it has to be my sister Sabina Chege. Honorable Speaker, let me make disclosure because the honorable member for Budalangi spoke about conjugal rights.
Yes,
the Honorable Sabina Chege comes from a county that neighbors my county.
Wanjala, what is your point of
my
order?
point of order, Mr. Speaker, you have clearly heard the leader of majority saying that they are able as Kenya Kwanza to protect the rights of women. Yet they have sacked a director of National Youth Service now, who is a woman. Director of National Youth Service.
Order, Wanjala, order. Order. Majority Leader, wind up.
Honorable Speaker, I prefer to ignore the Honorable Angela as usual. Honorable Speaker, I was saying the rights of women must and need to be protected, Honorable Speaker. And I was saying in conclusion, I must make full disclosure. The sacrifices Honorable Sabina Chege sacrificed during the campaigns for the Azimio coalition. I will make disclosure, Honorable Speaker. I had occasion to sit with the Honorable Sabina Chege for not less than 5 hours under a tree without any phone near us or anybody because of the fear that had been visited to people who hail from the Mount Kenya region in supporting Azimio. The sacrifices the Honorable Sabina Chege made must and should be protected. Finally, Honorable Speaker, Sabina Chege represents within the Azimio coalition a huge population of people within the Mount Kenya region, because I hail from the Mount Kenya region, that as few as the votes were that we gave to the Azimio coalition from Mount Kenya, those votes are represented by the Honorable Sabina Chege within that coalition. And we shall defend those votes within your coalition. I do not know what Azimio and ODM has against.
Mama Zamzam. Tuko karibu kumaliza, nimemupa.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Asante sana Bwana Spika. Mimi napenda kuelezea jumba hili kuwa nyumba ya Azimio ina wenyewe. Na wakati ule wakipanga kumchagua wanayemweka pale pia walizungumza kando. Na hakuna ambaye amesema hapa kuwa ikitoka Jubilee enda ODM. Hii ni mambo ya Azimio ni Azimio. Na mimi nataka nikwambie majority leader, nyinyi kwanza ndio mnawadanganya hawa. Na nyinyi mnaodanganya leo mimi nawaambia katika jumba hili. Mwanaume yoyote atakayekutoa kwenye ndoa yako, akatembea nawe kule nje, hawezi akakuamini hata siku moja. Mimi nataka niwaelezee viongozi wenzangu, makelele kule za kuwa ni mengi, lakini wanawachongea nyinyi. Ninamjua William Ruto, yuko very intelligent. He's very smart. Hawezi.
What's your point of order, Mama Zamzam? Tulia kidogo.
Unajua,
tulieni Mama Zamzam.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nitajitahidi kuzungumza kwa lugha ya Kiswahili hata kama sio sanifu kama lugha ya mama Mheshimiwa Zamzam. Lakini Mheshimiwa Zamzam amenukuru ya kuwa na nataka ya kuwa sisi, na akanitaja mimi kama kiongozi wa walio wengi, ya kuwa tumemtongoza mwanamke akatoka kwa ndoa yake na tunamdanganya. Na unajua bibi yangu huwa anaangalia haya mazungumzo kwa bunge. Sasa na bibi yangu anatoka eneo la Nyeri, Bwana Spika. Akisikia ya kuwa nimemtongoza mwanamke mwingine akatoka kwa ndoa yake, Mama Samsam akisema hayo ni Samsam Zamzam tamtam. Mimi sina tabia ya kuwatongoza bibi za wenyewe, lakini nayo tabia ya kukinga haki za wamama. Hata wewe Mama Zamzam, wakati Azimio ama pande yako kitakuumania, nitasimama na haki zako. Hata nyumbani kikikuumania, nitasimama na haki zako.
Haya. Mama Zamzam.
Mheshimiwa Spika, wajua majority leader ana kitu ya kuweza kila siku lazima anipinge, nafikiri wao wasikia raha. Lakini mimi nitasema ukweli. Na wabunge mlioko hapa, fanyeni heshima na ile coalition ambayo iliwapa nafasi. Fanyeni heshima sana, kwa sababu leo kama umechaguliwa huku, wewe leo kesho na kuona uko kule kwengine. Mimi nitakuamini vipi kuwa mambo yangu ya ndani utaweza kuniekea mimi na wewe wakati unaenda kutembea na yule ambaye ni jirani? Kwa hiyo mimi nataka niseme hivi, dadangu Sabina Chege mimi nampenda sana, ni kiongozi ambaye ni mchapakazi, hilo sikatai. Lakini kama leo ameamua, na tunasema hata ndugu yangu Ada Kainan, juzi nimeona kwa gazeti ameorodheshwa katika wale ambao wako upande huu. Kwa hiyo mimi nawaambia hivi, vukeni safu daka kwa daka, muende upande huu, tujue sisi tunaweza kusimama na Azimio kama watu waliostawi, watu ambao wana msimamo. Lakini leo mkidanganywa leo, kesho mkienda kule na wapia, na nimefunga Ramadhani, hamwezi kuaminika, mtakuwa mwekwa kando kando. Hile liekeni kwenye akili. Sisi huku tuko, liwe litakalokuwa, tuko Azimio, iwe mtatabaki watu wawili, tutabaki huku ndani ya Azimio. Watakao kwenda na waende. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Wa mwisho nampa mbunge wa Madhira. Huyo ndio wa mwisho, tunafunga huu mjadala. Thank you very much. Mnataka kuendelea? Mbunge wa Madhira.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, as a son of a single mother, Mr. Speaker, as a son who defends women in leadership, Mr. Speaker, as a devoted in-law to the great people of Murang'a County, Mr. Speaker, I'm calling upon yourself when time comes to make this ruling protect Honorable Sabina Chege. She worked for that position and she deserved it, Mr. Speaker. And finally, I want to request the leader of Minority Party, the shoes that Honorable Sabina Chege gave to Raila Odinga. Mr. Speaker, we are requesting for those shoes back because they have disowned her. Mr. Speaker, we are requesting the leader of Minority Party to return those shoes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Order, honorable members. Order, Catherine Omanyo, take your seat, Mama. Order, take your seat. Order, honorable Catherine Omanyo. Order. Order. Honorable Osoro, sit down, take your seats. Take your seats. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable members. Order. Order. Order, honorable members, sit down. Wamboka, take your seat. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Wamchomba. Order, take your seats. Order. Order, honorable members, take your seats. Take your seats. Honorable Mbeyo, take your seat. Order. Honorable members, take your seats. Honorable members, take your seats. Take your seats. Honorable Mbeyu, take your seat. Honorable Kogo, take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat, Honorable Mbeyu. Order. Order, honorable members. Order, order. Take your seats. Order, honorable members. Sergeant and your team, you can retreat. Order, honorable members. Thank you. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, since I became your speaker, I have not had any occasion to send any member out for misconduct. I'm not about to exercise that duty and right. I want to urge you, even when passions are high, we maintain decorum, we maintain respect for each other. Each one of us here is distinctly and individually elected to carry the dignity of the people who elected you in this house. And we don't carry those dignities bestowed upon us by either dancing on the floor or speaking with very high pitches and notes in your voices, or generally showing that you have the capacity to employ your hands instead of your brain. I want to urge you, as members, that these proceedings are televised, and your electors, your husbands, your wives, your children, people who admire you, Honorable Wanjala, I will not give you the distinction of expulsion. I want you to reflect and see that out of 349 members, if you are the only one trying to look different, then there's something severely wrong. And having been with you, Angela, for all these years, I thought osmosis has worked in some form. Honorable members, I want us to bring this debate to an end. Honorable Sabina Chege was given an opportunity to speak. Honorable Wandai was given an opportunity to speak. Honorable Majority Leader was given an opportunity to speak. And all the members who spoke have the right to speak the way they spoke, have the right to defend Sabina or to prosecute Sabina, depending on which school of thought you hold on the matter or which party position you are taking. But the ultimate responsibility and decision lies with your speaker, and I'll bring you a reasoned ruling in due course. Honorable Senior Counsel Otienda, I have tremendous respect for you. Allow me to close this debate now. As my distinguished learned junior, I'm sure you understand very well that when we say we close, we close. I know you are a man who speaks very sensibly. You are unlikely to raise passions. If you have any matter to add to what I'm going to rule, I give you the freedom to write to me a small note. I want to close this matter here. And Honorable Wandai, this was not a motion, so there's no right of reply. Yes, there's no right of reply. And I want order, I need no help. Honorable members, I need no order, Honorable Wandai. You know, let me tell you, members, what has just happened here is not strange. In a democratic dispensation, sometimes we take leave of our senses and do strange things. But the moment you realize that, you quickly recollect yourself and sit back as an honorable member. That's what I urge you to do. As your speaker, I want to go on record as leading an orderly house, a house of reason, a house where when an issue comes and you have the opportunity to speak, speak to the facts and not to individuals or casting emotions that are totally unhelpful and unnecessary. We will make a reasoned ruling that will give you direction and set precedents to assist this house in future. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Order, clerk. Honorable Wandai, what is the problem?
Yeah, you know.
Don't open any.
No, I'm not opening anything, really. You know, Mr. Speaker, these are House of Rules and record and procedures. And it behoves all of us, really, to ensure that it conducts itself in a manner that is respectable. And I've been pleading with you, not once, not twice, but very many times, that you have a duty, Mr. Speaker, to ensure this House doesn't degenerate. My point of order really is not about anything that has been discussed. I listened to you keenly. I've listened to you keenly, Honorable Speaker. And regardless of what else has been said on this matter.
Are you analyzing what I've just said?
What I am requesting you is to indicate to the minority coalition when exactly you intend to communicate on the matter we wrote to you about. That's what I really am requesting. That's not too much here.
Honorable, and you don't need to say those very many words to ask for when is the ruling. You could have just said that. Yes, you could have just said, Mr. Speaker, when are you giving us the ruling? Instead of taking a very long route to arrive at where you are standing. I will give you a ruling, Honorable Wandai, in the manner that I feel deemed fit, and it will come very soon. Next order. Not on the debate I have closed. Yes, Honorable Otienda Molo. I hope you are, I will stop you, Senior Counsel, if you wade into the debate that I've closed. Give him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a member of Parliament familiar with the rules, and as a lawyer, I respect the guidance you've given,
I will not speak on that issue. My point of order is different. I see my friend, the Honorable Didmas Barasa, wearing a garb on his head, which I believe is unparliamentary. I believe the rules have always been, unless it changed today, Mr. Speaker, that you are only allowed to wear a garb in your head if it is religious. I do not